She froze under the lights, hands trembling as if the air itself had weight. The room felt enormous, breathing around her, waiting for a mistake. A soft cough echoed. Somewhere, a chair creaked. Her name had just been announced, and already doubt pressed against her chest. She could hear her heartbeat louder than the murmurs, louder than the cameras, louder than the bell poised to end everything in a single second. For a moment, she wondered if walking away would hurt less than staying. Mara had learned fear early. It lived in empty cupboards, in shoes patched with hope, in mornings that began before sunrise. She cleaned offices while others slept, carrying a bucket heavier than her years, whispering lullabies to her mother before leaving. Illness had slowly taken memories, but never love. Every night, Mara promised to return, and every morning, she kept that promise. Dreams waited quietly, folded away like letters she was afraid to open. On this stage, under unforgiving lights, those letters threatened to spill open. Her voice cracked on the first note, thin and unsure. A sigh floated from somewhere. Her face warmed with shame. She almost apologized, the way she had learned to apologize for taking space, for being late, for being poor, for hoping. She remembered being told to be realistic, to be grateful, to not expect applause from life. She closed her eyes. In the darkness behind her lids, she saw small kindnesses lining her path like candles. A teacher who slipped her a library card. A neighbor who paid a fee without asking. A supervisor who said, "Sing while you mop, it makes the floor shine." She inhaled slowly, the way she had learned to breathe through worry. The melody steadied her, wrapping around her ribs, lifting her shoulders. Her voice returned, warmer now, shaped by gratitude. She sang for bus rides home with tired feet. She sang for notes taped to overdue bills that said, "We'll manage." She sang for nights spent studying by borrowed light, for graduation robes worn by others before her, for ceremonies attended quietly from the back. Each word carried humility, each pause carried patience. The room began to change. Whispers faded. Faces softened. The bell seemed to forget its purpose. Judges leaned forward without realizing. The sound grew confident, not loud, but honest. It didn't beg to be loved. It offered itself. In the audience, someone wiped their eyes, surprised by their own reaction. The song felt familiar, like a memory people didn't know they shared. Between verses, Mara felt something shift inside her. Fear loosened its grip. She was no longer asking permission to be there. She belonged because she had endured, because she had cared, because she had shown up for others when no one was watching. Her voice carried legacy now, not just talent. It carried sacrifice polished into grace. When the final note faded, silence held the room gently, as if afraid to break the moment. No applause yet. No judgment spoken. Just stillness, full and reverent. Mara opened her eyes, unsure what she would find. What she saw was not pity, nor shock, but recognition. In that quiet, she understood something simple and powerful. Success did not begin with confidence. It began with courage, shaky and imperfect, choosing to stand anyway. She stood there, breathing, hands still trembling, but heart steady at last. As hope waited patiently to be named, the head judge leaned forward, breaking the silence with a gentle question. "Tell us about you." It sounded simple, but to Mara it felt heavier than the song. Words had always been harder than music. She clasped her hands, noticing how small they looked against the microphone, and began slowly, choosing honesty over polish. She spoke about mornings that started before the sun, about hallways that smelled of cleaning solution, about learning to move quietly so others could work loudly. She mentioned caring for her mother, how some days were clear and some were fog, and how love learned to speak patiently in both. Her voice wavered, not from weakness, but from remembering. A ripple moved through the room. Some listeners nodded. Others exchanged uncertain glances. When she paused, one judge asked why she had waited so long to stand on a stage like this. The question landed wrong, sharp despite good intentions. It carried assumptions Mara had heard before. That waiting meant fear. That delay meant lack of ambition. Her chest tightened. Old doubts rose fast. She felt suddenly small again, like a girl standing outside a door marked, "Not for you." For a second, she thought of answering defensively, of listing sacrifices like proof. Instead, she breathed. She remembered choosing service again and again, and how that choice shaped her. "I didn't wait," she said softly. "I was needed." The room quieted, unsure how to respond. Some faces softened. Others remained skeptical. A misunderstanding hung in the air, the kind that grows when lives are measured by timelines instead of truths. Mara's shoulders curved inward, habit pulling her back. She wondered if honesty had cost her everything she had just gained. Then another judge, older, quieter, noticed her hands. The faint scars. The way she stood, respectful, unassuming. He asked a different question. "Who helped you get here?" That question opened something. Mara's eyes filled, not with sadness, but relief. She spoke names instead of struggles. A teacher. A neighbor. A coworker. She described small acts, never framed as charity, always as shared humanity. She smiled as she spoke, gratitude steadying her voice. Without being asked, she hummed a few lines, a gentle refrain of thanks. It wasn't planned. It wasn't strategic. It was instinct. The notes floated easily, carrying humility instead of defense. The audience leaned in. Applause started from one corner, hesitant, then spread. The earlier doubt began to dissolve. Judges exchanged looks, realizing they had mistaken patience for hesitation, service for delay. The misunderstanding unraveled quietly, replaced by respect. Not for her talent alone, but for her values. Mara felt it too. The shift. She straightened, not with pride, but with dignity. She wasn't trying to convince anyone anymore. She had shared her truth, and it was enough. In that moment, the stage felt different. Not a test, but a conversation. Not a judgment, but a meeting of lives. The cameras captured something rare, a person being understood in real time. When the judge thanked her, his voice carried warmth. "Sometimes," he said, "greatness arrives late because it was busy doing good." The audience rose, applause fuller now, unforced. Mara smiled through tears, pressing a hand to her heart. She realized that being seen did not mean being elevated above others. It meant being recognized as one of them. She stood there, no longer nervous, no longer shrinking, grounded in the quiet power of having chosen kindness first.